Colin asked, do you have any sort of guidelines that you follow, like the Sandy Metz rules?
Okay, yeah. In terms of guidelines, oh, that could be like very broad, but anything specific, I'll just start answering saying that I like to go from process to first, and then look at the code quality. So when I'm looking at a code base, I like to talk to the team and try to understand how they ship code. So we still meet every now and then some teams that are not running the test suite in every PR. Like they are not familiar with CI, and it happens. There are a lot of teams out there. But anyway, one thing that I like to understand first is like, okay, how does a change make it from idea to production? And then I try to understand like if they're using best practices, like they're submitting a pull request, they are making sure that the test suite passes, they're making sure that they're smoke testing and everything is working, and then they're shipping things to production quickly and not just like batching a big release every month. I like teams that are shipping things like every day or merging and shipping things all the time. Um, and then once I'm happy with the process, or I make the suggestions about the process, then I try to dig deeper a little bit in the code base. I look at the test suite. I use SimpleCov. I make sure that they have some. Every time they submit a pull request, they're also submitting tests. The code coverage percentage is not getting lower and lower with every pull request. That kind of tells me a little bit about like the practice and the culture of the tech team. Um, Another thing, once I learn all those things, I look at Ruby Critic, and I like to look at the churn versus complexity graph. Um, I like to use Skunk as well because it combines, the code quality metrics with the code coverage metrics. And yeah, before I suggest anything, I like to have as much data as possible to back it up. And sometimes well, most of the time, it's useful to have visual aids because at the end of the day, the tech team usually understands what you're saying as an engineer, but the non-technical manager that's managing the technical team has to understand too, and understand like what the consequences are of continuing with a poor process and a poor culture. And yeah, I'm still getting better at it. I'm still getting better at communicating to non-technical people, but I feel like with everybody here, I'm good at communicating like the technical metrics and all that. But when it comes to like talking to non-technical people, I'm not that good at saying like, hey, if you continue like this, people are gonna burn out, people are gonna leave. Nobody likes to work with Rails 2.3 when Rails 7.1 is out. So think about the consequences. Think about, people are going to leave, and your development team churn is going to be higher if you don't upgrade than if you do upgrade. So if you need to upgrade, then maybe you need to work on your test suite. And hopefully someday I'll be good at communicating this and explaining how everything connects. And if you want to have a successful business, you have to have a healthy tech team and culture.
Yeah, I found one of the key selling points for the non-tech folks when you're trying to get them to think about upgrades and stuff is if you don't keep up with your upgrades, you're exposing your business to very serious security risks, um, and exposure to lawsuits and all kinds of problems. So covering the CVEs is really important for business. So but you're right. That is a tough conversation because most of the time the non-technical people, the sales and the marketing side and the C-suite folks are more focused on what can we ship, what can we sell, what can make the profit for the company, and they're not thinking about, yeah, but the developers are blowing their minds because they can't wrap their heads around this complex mess that we've got. And every time we ask them to change something, they've got 3 weeks of sleepless nights because they don't have any tests to make sure that things are good. So it's a tough conversation.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think in terms of security, that seems to be the main driver these days. I can't really say names, but we get contacted by public companies every month saying, "Hey, we're running this version of Rails and we need to pass this PCI compliance test."
Oh no.
And it's like,
Good luck.
can you upgrade us from Rails 4.2 to Rails 7.1 in a month? Like, no, sorry.
Well, yes, if your program is Hello World, probably.
Right.
Yes, but there are 6 or 7 zeros attached to that number.
Yeah.
Not even all the money in the world, because it would be like committing to shipping an impossible project. Because the companies that reach out to us, as I said, they're public. They've been running this for 10 plus years, and it's been working. It's been working. It's legacy code. I like to think of legacy code as a great thing. It's serving its purpose. It's making the company money. But you should have been investing in paying off this technical debt every month in the past 10 years. And no, you didn't. You prioritize shipping features, shipping bugs, shipping bug fixes too. And then you can't
pay me now or pay me later.
yeah, it's so yeah, then we do end up working on projects that are multi-million-dollar projects that are upgrade projects for huge monoliths. But yeah, some clients want the impossible, and we can't promise that.
Well, and I think too, by the time that non-technical people notice the symptoms of technical debt building up, it's usually too late to do anything about it at that point in a cost-effective way. I mean, you're so far down the track of technical debt by the time non-technical people are seeing the problems from it that it's really hard to recover at that point.
Yeah, for sure.
If you like this clip and want to watch another one, you can click right here. Or if you want to watch the full video, you can click here.